Welcome to another episode of Out Loud Geek, where we discuss science fiction, fantasy, cooking, the outdoors, and more. With Netflix stock down below $200 a share, which it had not been in 5 years, some changes are occurring at the company, and not all the employees are probably going to like it. Netflix is basically changing its corporate culture by telling woke workers that if they aren't happy with content that's being streamed on the service, they can leave. This is a huge change in how the company has been handling its employees over the years. So if we read this article, Netflix has finally launched a crackdown on woke workers trying to silence artists such as Dave Chappelle. The streaming service dished out a new culture memo telling staff if they are offended by the content, they can leave the firm. Bosses warned they will not censor specific artists or voices, even if employees consider the content harmful. The document also called on workers to tighten their belts and rein in corporate spending as the company's finances falter. Well, yeah, their stock is way down in the hole, so they need to do something really quick. The ailing platform has shelled out millions of viewers over the last year as rivals Amazon, Disney, and Apple pick up steam. Stocks have nosedived over the last 6 months from nearly $700 a share to as low as $166 per share yesterday, despite a slight rise to $174 in pre-market trading. And as I just showed, it actually closed today at $187.64, but that's still really low. Meanwhile, the company has been at war with itself over airing content some woke workers claim is harmful to them. Young activists have targeted the likes of comedian Chappelle for jokes about transgender people and aimed to get him canceled. But Netflix finally appeared to be stamping out the backlash with its new memo titled, Netflix Culture Seeking Excellence. In a new section called Artistic Expression, the memo says, entertaining the world is an amazing opportunity and also a challenge because viewers have very different tastes and points of view, which is absolutely true. So we offer a wide variety of TV shows and movies, some of which can be provocative. To help members make informed choices about what to watch, we offer ratings, content warnings, and easy-to-use parental controls. Not everyone will like or agree with everything on our service, and that is the truth. While every title is different, we approach them based on the same set of principles. We support the artistic expression of the creators we choose to work with. We program for a diversity of audiences and tastes, and we let viewers decide what's appropriate for them versus having Netflix censor specific artists or voices. This is a big change from how things have been going on over at Netflix. The memo adds, as employees, we support the principle that Netflix offers a diversity of stories even if we find some titles counter to our own personal values. So I think anyone working for a streaming service or an entertainment service have to accept the fact that there's going to be content that they aren't personally going to like. And they shouldn't be trying to tell the company what they should and should not be putting out. That's just not right. Depending on your role, you may need to work on titles you perceive to be harmful. If you'd find it hard to support our content breadth, Netflix may not be the best place for you. That is an amazing statement to make to employees. That's really kind of shocking in a way that Netflix is putting this out. But I think the fact that their stock is in the dumps has made the management over there realize that they need to do something rather drastic if they want their business to stay in business. The memo, which was sent to staff on Thursday, is the first update to the culture guide in 5 years when it used to just be called Netflix Culture. But it keeps the core principles of the original document with notes on empowering employees' decision-making and calling for candid feedback. The new docket appeared to be Netflix taking a firm stand against those trying to thwart artistic content they disagree with. Chappelle is one of the performers who has come under fire for his show, The Closer, that caused an eruption at the company last fall. Some woke activists claimed it contained transphobic and homophobic content and called for it to be canned. He said in the stand-up special, "Gender is a fact," and criticized what he said was the skin of the trans community. The jokes were based on observations made by Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling, who in 2019 said trans women were not actually women and were a threat to her identity. But Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos rode in behind Chappelle and continued to publish the show, triggering a mass exodus of woke workers. So people had already started to leave Netflix over the Chappelle issue. The new memo also contained a section aiming at getting staff to cut down on spending under the Valued Behaviors heading. It says, "You spend our members' money wisely," and went on to say, "There are virtually no spending controls and few contract signing controls. Each employee is expected to seek advice and perspective as appropriate. Use good judgment is our core precept." But the new document removed, "Note that if our company experienced financial difficulty, we wouldn't ask our employees to accept less pay," which is really interesting because that's probably a very good indication that those who are still working with Netflix may have their paychecks cut in the coming weeks or months. That's also a very interesting statement to make. A sports team with a long losing record still pays top of personal market for the players they hope will get them back into a winning position. On the other hand, if the company does well, our broadly distributed stock options become quite valuable. Other sections added include ethical expectations, representation matters, and employees direct our philanthropy. The first one appeared to be in reaction to an employee having to be fired in October after admitting they downloaded internal data and shared it with a third party. It included financial data on Squid Game and Chappelle's The Closer, and was said to be an attempt to point out how much more was spent on the comedian's show. Netflix says all its thousands of staff had the chance to see and contribute ideas for the new culture memo using a shared document. It comes as the firm is being dragged through the ringer as it faces huge cash losses and a mass exodus of viewers to rivals. It said on April 19th it had lost 200,000 subscribers in the first 3 months of the year, the first time in a decade their numbers have fallen. Well, clearly they needed to do something or they're just going to keep losing subscribers. The fact that they keep raising their prices isn't really helping much, so I am not personally opposed to them creating a less expensive ad-supported tier because other services are already doing that. They said they expect to lose $2 million more in the second quarter, and the share price fell significantly, wiping away roughly $70 billion in market capitalization. $70 billion? That is a huge amount of money. Who can even imagine what $70 billion looks like? Netflix's co-chief executive Reed Hastings said the firm was considering introducing adverts on a cheaper subscription package. But a note to staff obtained by the New York Times on Tuesday showed the pace of the proposal was drastically accelerated. It says, yes, it's fast and ambitious and it will require some trade-offs. Every major streaming company, excluding Apple, has or has announced an ad-supported service. For good reason, people want lower-priced options. Well, of course, people are dealing with inflation. People are watching prices go up on everything. So if somebody can't afford to pay for a streaming service because they're having to pay more for food and other basic necessities of life, the streaming services are going to get cut. It's just that simple. It's entertainment. It's not a necessity, but food, gas, lodging, housing, all of that is necessary for survival. So yeah, people are going to spend their money more wisely. And if streaming services don't provide a means for people to have a less expensive option, then they're just not going to have as many subscribers. The executives pointed out HBO and Hulu have been able to maintain strong brands while offering an ad-supported service. Netflix currently offers several plans to its 221.64 million subscribers, all without advertising. Its most popular scheme cost $15.49 a month, and it was unclear how much the new one would be. HBO Max charges $15 a month for uninterrupted viewing and $10 a month with advertising. Netflix executives said the advertising-supported tier would be introduced in tandem with our broader plans to charge for sharing. Netflix is also in talks to join forces with The Trade Desk, which helps advertisers with their online campaigns, and which has former Chief Financial Officer David Wells on their board. They are also intending on clamping down on the sharing of accounts. Greg Peters, Netflix's chief operating officer, said, "So if you've got a sister, let's say, that's living in a different city, you want to share Netflix with her, that's great. We're not trying to shut down that sharing, but we're going to ask you to pay a bit more to be able to share with her." He said that the changes would take a year or so of iterating to roll out in their entirety. Netflix stock was up around 4.5% on Friday, but is yet to bounce back from last month's rout. Yeah, it's going to be a very long time before Netflix stock even approaches where it was at the beginning of the year. The price was $348.61 at market close on April 19th. Then the stock fell to $226.19 on April 20th and was at $177 a share by Tuesday evening. And as I showed before, right now it's at around 187, but still that's way down just from the start of the year. And it's way down from the $700 a share that it was about 6 or 7 months ago. So I think that this is probably the best thing that Netflix can do given its current situation. The company has clearly lost a considerable amount of money, and the only way that they're going to start getting back subscribers is by offering an ad-supported tier. And they're going to have to tell the employees that, no, we have to have content that you aren't necessarily going to like, because otherwise it's only going to hurt Netflix's bottom line, which is to make money. That should be the company's number one thing is, are they making money or are they not? And I'm sure that shareholders would appreciate that too. So yeah, it's time for Netflix to start taking a look at the broader picture and accept the fact that everyone is different, everyone has different tastes, and everyone has different beliefs and personal opinions. Thank you for watching today, and thanks to everyone who has subscribed to our YouTube channel. We appreciate your support. If you enjoyed this video, please press the like button below, and please feel free to share a comment. If you would like to see more of our videos in the future and help support this channel, please subscribe right now by clicking on the red subscribe button below. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter by clicking on the links in the description. Until next time, this is Out Loud Geek.